He didn't speak, didn't flinch, didn't even look up. I swear the second I saw that chainsaw, I stopped breathing, barefoot, white robe, chainsaw in hand. He pulled the cord, the engine roared, then one clean slice through the grass. She screamed, "You can't do that!" Her fingers stabbed the air. 3 cops stood behind him, watching, waiting, silent. He kept cutting, inches from her feet, right along the property line. The sun hit his back. Dust floated like smoke. His eyes never moved. He wasn't losing. He was drawing the line, legally, precisely. And he'd been planning this for weeks. The night before, he was alone in the garage. No storm, no chaos. Just that kind of stillness where even dust seems to hang in place. Mark stood in front of the workbench, both hands on a plastic folder. The corners were taped, edges sealed. You could tell it had been opened and resealed many times. He pulled out one sheet, a yellowed map, faded, still sharp where it mattered. Property line approved. 1983. The ink was nearly gone, but he didn't need it to be clearer. He remembered. He ran a finger along the dotted line. It curved exactly 0.9 feet from where the new fence stood. Not a guess, not a hunch. Measured, verified, legal. He didn't sigh, didn't frown, just nodded once. Slow, like the way you nod to an old friend you never stop trusting. Behind him, the sprinkler clicked on in the backyard. For a second, he could hear his mother humming, and his father, kneeling on that same grass 30 years ago with a level and a shovel. They built that line, with sweat, with love, with the belief that neighbors respected boundaries. Mark didn't keep this land out of pride. He kept it because someone had to. And when the new owners tore down that fence, claimed it was wrong, acted like he was the one intruding, he didn't argue, he didn't yell. He walked into this garage and opened this folder. He peeled back each layer of plastic like a surgeon prepping a scalpel. Not for damage, for clarity. And then, with quiet hands, he took clear tape and pressed it along the edges again. One corner, then the next. Smooth, precise. He wasn't just preserving it, he was getting it ready, to be seen, to be used, to be undeniable. No music played, but if it had, it would have been one long, low note, held just under hearing, rising like a hum of static before lightning hits. Because tomorrow, someone would scream, someone would call the cops, and Mark would say 6 words they'd never forget. But tonight, he just sealed the truth and let it sit under his fingertips like a loaded weapon. The next afternoon was quiet, too quiet. No lawnmowers, no dogs, just the dry buzz of summer air and the soft click of a tape measure snapping open. She stepped into the yard like she owned it. Black top, blue jeans, phone in one hand, highlighter in the other. She didn't look around, didn't knock, didn't ask. She walked straight to the back fence. The wood had faded, edges weathered smooth from years of wind. But the posts were solid, unmoved, exactly where they'd been since 1983. She pulled the tape, measured a few feet, stopped, muttered something under her breath. "This isn't right, it's taking our space." She looked around again, no one there, or so she thought. Then she did it, set the tape down, uncapped the highlighter, read. One swipe, straight across the fence post, a fat X, right on the line like it was hers to mark. Like 40 years of quiet history meant nothing. The camera doesn't move fast, it lingers. On the 10th. On her face, focused, smug. Inside the house, a curtain shifts. Half an inch, no more. Just enough for us to see. Mark saw everything. He didn't move, didn't open the door, but one hand lifted, reached to the wall, clicked a pen. On the corkboard behind him was a laminated scan of the property map. He wrote something in the corner, one number, one note, then he set the pen down and went back to stillness. Outside, she kept talking, not loud, just that kind of voice people use when they think they're right and want the world to hear it. She measured again, stepped further onto his grass, marked another post. 2 X's now. Red. Bleeding across wood that never belonged to her. She smiled, took a photo, texted it. Back inside, the curtain shifted again. Closed this time, No words, no sound, just the growing sense that someone had made a mistake, and someone else was already planning how to show it. Maybe you've seen someone like her before, sure of themselves, loud, always crossing lines that weren't theirs. I've been there too, watching in silence, knowing it wasn't right, but waiting for the right move. If this story speaks to something in you, subscribe. We tell stories for people who don't yell, but never stay quiet. 2 days later, he stepped out. Same robe, bare feet. This time, holding a laser level and a thick folder, edges worn, corners taped. The yard was quiet. No wind, no words. Mark didn't glance at the house next door. He didn't need to. He walked the same stretch of fence she'd marked, slow, measured steps, pausing right at the red X. Not a sound from him, just one small motion. He peeled a piece of transparent film from a backing sheet, smoothed it against the wooden post, a clear overlay, printed with GPS coordinates, stamped with a date, 1983, approved, archived, legally binding. He stood there for a second, head tilted, studying the placement like a man hanging art. Then, with steady hands, he walked the rest of the line. Every few feet, another transparent sticker, another coordinate, another ghost of the past coming back into place. It took 12 minutes, not a second more. Then he turned, left the laser by the porch, walked back inside, didn't shut the door, didn't need to. Across the yard, behind tinted glass, a curtain shifted. Someone was watching. Mark knew that. He was counting on it. Because this wasn't just proof. It was bait. If she touched it, tore it down, argued it, she wasn't just crossing him anymore. She was crossing a line with a legal timestamp and GPS precision. He'd just changed the battlefield. Silently. Deliberately. In full view. But the move was quiet enough that she wouldn't realize what he'd done. Not yet. She'd think it was paper, just another stubborn neighbor marking territory. Nothing serious, nothing final. That's what made it dangerous. Because the moment she acted, she'd prove everything he needed. From inside, he watched the screen on his hallway camera. Not to catch her. To confirm one thing. Whether she'd take the bait. Whether she'd tear down what looked like a passive gesture, but was actually a trigger. This wasn't revenge, not yet. This was placement. Precision. The kind of move that doesn't raise voices. It raises consequences. Mark didn't write her name, didn't say a word, didn't call the cops. He just left evidence standing on its own, waiting, and the trap was already set. She stepped out, still in her slippers, still seething, her eyes locked on the red X, now covered by a clear plastic square, coordinates, date, seal. She ripped it down, no hesitation, tore the paper in half, then again, and again. 10 minutes later, she returned, but not alone. Her husband trailed behind, arms crossed, jaw tight. A neighbor followed, holding up a phone like it was a badge. Her voice cut through the morning like a siren. "This man is dangerous. He's threatening our property." No one answered, not yet. Mark was already in the yard, boots now, same robe, calm hands. He didn't yell, didn't raise a finger. He bent down, set the chainsaw on the grass. Then, slow and certain, he reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, pressed record. Across the street, 2 squad cars rolled up, lights flashing but sirens off. 3 officers stepped out. They didn't rush, didn't draw weapons, didn't even look surprised. Mark turned just once and nodded. To the camera, to the cops, then to the woman shouting at the edge of his property. The same woman who'd just destroyed a documented boundary. The same one whose voice was now shaking because her story didn't sound as strong with others watching. And that's when the air changed, because this wasn't just a neighborhood squabble anymore. It was recorded, witnessed, filed. Mark didn't accuse her. He didn't have to. He just raised the phone slightly higher, capturing her finger jabbing the air, her husband pacing behind. The witness clearly unsure where to stand. The paper she'd torn, he already had copies. The coordinates she'd ignored, already filed at City Hall. 12 minutes of measured silence, now followed by 12 seconds of perfect collapse. She thought yelling would tilt the story. She thought bringing backup made her look credible. But every move she made, every word she spat, built Mark's case, not hers. Because the real weapon here wasn't his chainsaw. It was the footage, the timeline, the paperwork. And as the officer stepped forward, not toward Mark, but toward her, she stepped back, suddenly unsure, suddenly small. Mark stayed still, didn't gloat, didn't smirk. He just watched, like a man waiting for the truth to finish its own job. And in that moment, he didn't just reclaim his land. He reclaimed the narrative, legally, publicly, without saying a single word. Late afternoon. Shadows stretched long across the grass. Mark came out alone. One hand held a wooden stake, the other, a folded map. A third county issued, red seal at the bottom. He didn't speak. He didn't knock. He didn't ask permission. He walked to the edge of the yard, right where the red X used to be, the same spot she had claimed as hers. One by one, he drove the stakes in. Each one lined up to the map, precise, intentional, unbothered by the people gathering on porches to watch. Behind him, 2 officers stood again. Same posture, same silence. They weren't here to interfere. They were here to witness. Mark unrolled the map, clipped it to a small A-frame sign, bold black lines, official numbers. The county seal like a bullet hole on paper. The woman stepped out of her house. She stopped halfway. Her mouth opened, but this time, nothing came out. Her husband hovered behind the blinds, didn't follow, didn't film. Mark bent down, picked up the chainsaw, pulled the cord once. Engine roared to life. No aggression, no hesitation. He walked the line, measured steps, deliberate angle, each cut low, clean, permanent. Right through the strip of grass she said was hers. Right along the GPS coordinates she'd ignored. 12 feet, then 20, then 30. That's when the officer stepped forward, calm voice, not hostile, just procedure. "What are you doing exactly, sir?" Mark didn't look up. He simply pointed to the stakes, to the sign, to the sealed document, then said 6 words: level, flat, final. "I'm clearing what's legally mine." And that was it. No courtroom, no argument, no raised voice, just a line, cut straight through entitlement, drawn with a chainsaw, backed by law. The woman didn't yell this time. She didn't protest. She didn't move. Her neighbor stepped back. The witness turned away. No one was on her side now, because the story had shifted, not in volume, but in weight. Mark's silence had become louder than her screams. His paperwork, sharper than any insult. His every move, calculated to collapse hers. Not out of anger, but out of duty. To the land, to his father, to the truth. And as he cut the final foot of grass, dust trailing like smoke in the wind, he didn't smile. He didn't pause. He just finished what needed finishing. The officers didn't stop him. They nodded once, then left. No citation, no questions, just acknowledgement. She had lost the argument before she ever opened her mouth. And Mark, he never needed to raise his. 2 weeks later, the grass had grown back, thinner along the cut line. The fence was rebuilt, stake by stake, exactly where it had always been. The GPS tag still shimmered faintly in the sun. Nothing had moved, but everything had changed. The neighbor's house was quiet, windows drawn, no lawn work, no barking dog. A small plastic sign hung crooked on the front door. "Do not disturb." They hadn't been seen in days. Mark came out just after 6. Same time every morning, coffee in one hand, wooden chair in the other. He placed it on the porch, turned it slightly, just enough to face the yard next door, then sat. Not to gloat, not to glare, just to be. The air was still. One bird crossed the sky. He sipped, watched, waited for nothing. On his lap sat a white envelope, unsealed, thin. He opened it once, read it all, short, director, stamped, an apology. From the other side's lawyer, no names, just acknowledgement. A line or two about trespass and misunderstanding. Mark folded it in half, then again, pressed it flat between his palms. He stood, walked to the mailbox, slipped the letter inside, closed the lid. He didn't keep it, didn't scan it, didn't frame it. Because some things aren't worth holding on to. especially when you've already won. Across the fence, a curtain moved, only slightly. He saw it, but didn't react, didn't nod, didn't wave, because silence when earned speaks louder than any apology. The wind shifted, carried nothing, no shouting, no footsteps, no stories, just the quiet of a line that would not be crossed again. Mark sat back down, finished his coffee, not proud, not bitter, just still. And behind him, inside the house, nothing on display, no trophies, no files, only a copy of the 1983 boundary map, folded in a drawer, exactly where it belonged. No one would touch it again. They knew, and he didn't need to say a word. Not everyone fights to win. Some just want no one to touch what they've guarded too long.